'cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space.
Hello, what is poppin' YouTube fam? This is your boy J Money here, bringing you guys another deck. So I promise you guys I will get back to whatever that mill deck is, and I will get back to Infernobles as well as Burning Abyss even. But as we know, Phantom Rage is right around the corner, and that is when a lot of decks are getting support. So I will be working on decks like Zoodiac and Prank Kids, and even one of my favorite archetypes in this game being UAs. So this is Zoodiacs before, pre-Phantom Rage. Just trying it out because I have no experience with the deck, zero. Even back in 2017, because I absolutely despised the deck, and even now it's still not my cup of tea, because, well, it's not combo. So, as you can see, we're going against a nice Infernoble strategy over here, he's going to, showcase exactly why you should be playing, what's it called? Oh, no, I don't think this is it. This is in the game, but Ghost to show how strong Gozen match is in this game, today. Gozen match, wins against almost every matchup. It wins against Infernobles, it wins against, Dragon Link as well. Dogma Invoked, kinda, just depends if they open a deer or not. If they do open a deer, then it kinda doesn't do much unless you have the Solemn Strike for it, which, oh, look at that, it flipped it over. This deck's pretty nice, and it actually can garner itself quite a bit of wins. It has a very good win-to-loss ratio. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a build or whatnot, but I'll go ahead and post up what's going on right here. What my record is, just from the top of just my most recent matches. So I do have some losses, and I will definitely showcase one of those 3 losses that I got. Just kind of demonstrate some of the weaknesses of the deck. If you actually think about picking up this deck, and assuming Zeus is extremely expensive and you can't afford it, but you just want to play this deck anyway, just because. There's that. It might be a while before I pick up Zeus, honestly, because, not only do I still owe folks money, but rent is right around the corner. So, there's that. First match is over with. Goes a match too strong, so let's go ahead and look up my loss. And I know a lot of you guys hate combo and stuff, but me personally, this is the kind of deck that I absolutely cannot stand. This is the kind of deck that I despise the most, and it's anti-meta. Anti-meta, just Inspector Borders, Barrier Statues, Mystic Mines, Necro Valleys, Fossil Dynas, and all just all of these things again. All of these cards can essentially do the same thing a full board can, and that's what it takes the risk and the work out of locking your opponent out of the game. If you're gonna lock your opponent out of the game, I said it a million times, if you're gonna do it, it should take your entire deck commitment, your entire extra deck commitment. It should take everything, and then you're still vulnerable. You still leave yourself open to cards like hand traps and board breakers like Dark Ruler No More and Forbidden Droplet and Mystic Mine and stuff like that. But no, just Summon Inspector Border just takes all that out of the equation. Period, point blank. And that's just, this kind of game right here is not this is not fun. Just smacking into every trap only for your opponent to draw into another trap and rinse and repeat. That is we hate the slow burn. If we're gonna get killed, we may as well get killed immediately. That's our thing. And this is also the kind of deck that Dragoon Red Eyes is the most abusable in. You would think that the combo decks are best suited for it, but no, it's the decks that set a lot of back row. It's the decks, that have just set 4 behind Dragoon that make it really, really strong, because Dragoon with a monster board loses to everything the other monsters lose to. They lose to Dark Ruler no more. They lose to Sphere Mode. They lose to Kaijus. They lose to, you know, all that other stuff. But, you know, if it's just Dragoon and back row, you can play things like Gozen Match, Rally Warlords, you can play Solemn Brigade, you can play anything and everything under the book to keep Dragoon and Red Eyes alive. And anything that may threaten your back row, like let's say Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Dust, so you can just Dark Prod that hoe, or Solemn Judgment that hoe. You know, either or just let it die and hit Awaken the Dragon. You know, your choice, doesn't matter. See, this is the kind of deck that Dragoon is like so abusable in. Not necessarily the combo decks, because combo decks would rather just summon Needle Fiber and do stuff there, but whoo, Jesus Christ, man, I can't stand decks like these. But, hey, luckily I had the Kaiju, but, you know, that doesn't really matter too much when you have Dimensional Barrier and literally can just end your opponent's turn. And we all know what happens in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! If your turn ends, you lose. Period, point blank. That is how Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Works. So, yeah. Goes to show, you know, and you understand now why combo decks have to be able to be resistant enough to play through hand traps, because if the opponent succeeds in ending the combo player's turn, they lose the game. So, yeah. Anyway, on to a Dragon Lake match. He scoops because he had an awful hand. I doubt it. It was probably because I was going first and he was probably expecting me to be playing combo. But since I knew he was playing Dragon Link, like, because I saw 60 cards in his deck, I figured, you know, I'm going to cite Kaijus, I'm going to cite Mystic Minds, and stuff like that. I opened 2 Kaijus, so I'm like, okay. So whenever he equips the Buster Lock to, which is likely Savage Dragon, I'll just Kaiju over it. So not only do I get rid of the Buster Lock, but I get rid of a negate all in one fell swoop. But come to find out, he's not necessarily playing what you would think he's playing. He's really not. He's actually playing an older variant that, you know, everybody's probably forgot about. And that's the FDK. So, yeah, I totally forgot that this was a variant that the deck could take. And I was fully prepared to break this board. As you can see, I have Tinky, I have Thoroughblade, I have Barrage. I was prepared to play through his whole board. I had 2 Kaijus. Like, he was not, like, getting out of this. Like, period, point blank, he was not winning. Assuming he was just going to make the board. If he was just going to make a board, like, I was winning that game. Period, point blank, but Earthbound Immortal, you know. Earthbound Immortal go brrr. Now, you know, you're going to see some funny stuff here in just a second, but I'll end up, you know, stopping it at that moment, you know, where he decides to, hey, look, Gozen Match. So, yeah, let's go ahead and look at the comments over here, shall we? So this guy actually had the stones to insult me for flipping over Gozen Match against a Dragon League deck that FTKs, not necessarily make a board. Yeah, real funny, pal. Anyway, you know, this is where the match essentially ends again. Just the fact that a Dragon League player, if he was just playing regular Dragon League, that's one thing. But, you know, saying F you because I flipped Gozen Match, you need consent. I don't need consent for shit. You know, fuck you. Yeah, it's real funny coming from an FDK. So let's, that was nice. But let's go ahead and get on to match number 4. And this is a weird build of Eldlich. So, as you can see, we're taking on a lot of pretty noteworthy decks over here. You know, we're not playing against like just random shit. We're playing against like decent decks. You know, so, you know, goes to show that Zoodiacs can actually do shit if you build them correctly. You know, if you got the text in order and all that, you are good to go. I.e. Gozen Match is just so damn good. Now, one thing I learned in this particular matchup is that Eldlich just straight loses to Zoodiacs by a long shot. For 2 reasons. One, Whiptail banishing all the Golden Lords is, you know, every single Golden Lord that hits the field is threatened by Whiptail, for starters. And 2, you're going to see it a lot coming up in these next few turns. You know, anytime you have they have a set Sanguine with either a Conquistador, a Hakier, or whatever, you can literally just chain Trident and pop the Hakier / Conquistador or whatever, and it goes straight to the graveyard. So you have no risk of it being summoned, no risk of it disrupting you at all, because you just pop it every time. You know, yeah, sure, the Golden Lord will summon, that's fine, but, you know, like, you're literally just playing against a vanilla deck with no disruptions because Dryden exists. Because Dryden can consistently pop your interruptions because they have to be summoned to the field, and then your vanilla, being your Golden Lord, or their Golden Lord, is just gonna get banished by Whiptail. So you literally just auto-win. Like, the matchup is so easy. It's so simple. Now, it really depends on what the hybrid of it is, like what's your secondary engine. Now, this is a nice big brain play. So I summon Dryden with Ramram on the board, and he reveals Nibiru, and I respond to that Nibiru with Dryden to pop my own Ramram. So Ramram is popped, so it does not get tributed for Nibiru, and therefore, after the token summon, Ramram can still get his effect, and I summon a monster being Thoroughblade. So that's another way to play around. You know, that's a nice little nifty interaction you can have. If you are sensing Nibiru, you could use Dryden to pop your own Ramram, so you can still summon a Zoodiac from your graveyard and potentially recover. You know, if anything, you could just summon a Zoodiac XCs and just summon the Armored B on top of it and go in for some damage. Hey, look, Armored B. What do you know? Yeah, there's other big frame plays I've done. I've played against this Shaddoll Invoked player, and he had 3 cards in his hand, and he activated Shaddoll Fusion, and the only thing I had on the field was Dryden, and I chained Dryden's effect to pop itself, and he just looks at his hand, he's like, well, shit. Couldn't resolve the Shaddoll Fusion at all. The only hope was that Dryden remained on the field, but I was too big brained for him, so, you know, Dryden is pretty flexible in a lot of situations. You know, not just popping your opponent's cards, but, you know, spells and traps and all that. So, you're looking at an interesting little package we got going on here. The Ancient Warrior package is actually really nice. Now, what you're looking at, the main deck Ancient Warrior is a Cyber Dragon. If your opponent is the only one that controls monsters, you can special summon it from the hand. And if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can also target a monster on the field and destroy it. Now, the Link monster, if you have to use 2 Beast Warriors, including 1 Wind. Including 1 Wind Ancient Warrior monster, which is that one. And when it's Link summon, you can also add an Ancient Warrior monster. You can also, as a quick effect, during both players' turns, you can send any card from the field or the hand to the graveyard to target a card on your opponent's field and return it to the hand. I do believe it has to be face up, though. So, basically, you not only get to put a 2500 body on the board as a Cyber Dragon to put pressure, but you can also apply even more pressure by targeting a monster and destroying it and potentially banning a negate. Also, you know, if that weren't enough, you can also just make a Link monster that not only gives you a card to use for its effect, but you could also just during both players, just during a full cycle, you can threaten 2 more cards. You know, you can send your used up 10 keys and all that to the graveyard. You can send like combo, you can send hand traps that are useless against the matchup. You know, if you don't have enough life points for strike, you can just send that. Like, it's so flexible. So, the last one you're seeing is a zombie. Of course, you likely saw what went down game 1. I don't think you saw any zombies, but here we go. Rally of Warlords plus Zombie World is really, really annoying. And what we're trying to do here is we are hoping to get into the Ancient Warrior. Either that or get into Legacy of the Duels, because we did side some back row hate. So we were kind of smart enough to do that. And it was only because we had useless cards against the matchup. So we were just like, whatever, why not? But, you know, we can't get past that. So I opened Dimension Shifter. We side deck 3, by the way. Dimension Shifter against Infernobles, Dragon Link, even Invoked, Dragma, all that stuff. It's just really good. Against Prank Kids is going to be really nice. against not so much Zoodiac, because as you can see, I'm playing it. Like, you can get away with a turn without like detaching and using like throw blades and stuff, unless you really want to. But you can really get away with that stuff. But as somebody said way back in 2013, sometimes you gotta slow your deck down to shut down theirs. So that works every time. And of course, as you can see, the power of Zoodiacs, we get in there on our opponent very, very well. So I do hope you guys enjoy this. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. This is J Money, and I am signing out.